Alright, what we got going on here today is we're going to do an oxy-fuel cart build for oxyacetylene. That's what I use as acetylene. I know the more proper term is oxy-fuel because there's a lot of other fuel gases, but I use acetylene like most men and women do. So we're going to do an oxy-fuel cart build. Why am I doing this? Well, for some reason I just have this feeling that all carts are garbage. I don't know why, I just do. I did recently have a burglary happen when we were under construction and a crackhead stole all of our oxy-fuel carts. So I went digging and found the one that I thought was the best that I could find for what I like. And I have that out there and I'll show it to you, but it still has some things that I don't like about it. And we'll look at it and we'll go over the positives and the negatives later. Why are they all garbage? They have small wheels. I don't know why they put wheels this freaking big on oxy-fuel carts. It's really annoying. You know, if you have to go out of a concrete floor, it doesn't roll, and we do that quite frequently. So the small wheels is a huge issue. That's one of my main issues. The new carts that I did buy have bigger wheels on them, but I got these for what we're doing. I'm sitting on 20s, right? I'm not messing around. I want big wheels. I want to be able to go over a railroad track if I have to. So that's what I bought for this. They were expensive, but I think they're going to be worth it because one of the main reasons that all carts are garbage, they have small wheels. And I remember one time I was talking to a fabricator and I showed up at his shop about 15 years ago and he was putting bicycle wheels on his carts and he was just snapping about the wheels. He went off on this like 10-minute tirade about how the small wheels are terrible. He's putting on the bicycle wheels, and here I am 15 years later doing the same thing. That's not a bicycle wheel, it's a hard wheel. It doesn't have a tube. I don't want a tube because I don't want a spark to land on the tube and then the tube pops, right? So we're getting rid of the small wheels, that's done. I've never seen a cart that has a place for the torch. Something that locks the torch down. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to lock it down somehow so that it's not hanging off the side of the bottle, or the new one has a nice little tray you can put it in, but still I want to lock it in, you know what I mean? Because if I have to go portable, I don't want it flopping all over the place. So I've never seen one that has a place for a torch. They're all steel. I'm going to make mine out of aluminum. Steel rusts. It's heavy. I'm making mine out of aluminum. I can't think of a reason not to. I've talked to 5-6 welders and I said, how come there's no aluminum carts? Is there a reason for that? I don't know. I don't think so. So here we are, we're going to do aluminum. I'm going to make it out of square tube instead of round. Just because that's what I got and I kind of have that vision in my head for some reason, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to make it to my preference. It's my cart, so I'm going to make it for what I want, the things I want on it to be on it. I don't care what you want, it's mine, so it's my preference. If you're going to build one, if that's why you're watching this, do it for your preference, right? Because you're the one that owns the cart and it's what you do with it, right? So. Oh, and this is the other thing. None of them are really secure. Have you ever noticed that the chain goes into like a slot? There's nothing on top of the slot to prevent the chain from coming off. So I'm going to put 2 ratchet straps on because the cart that I have at my shop at my house, the bottles kick out on the bottom all the time. And that's the worst cart that I have, is the one that's in my shop at my house, because I inherited it from my dad. He was a farrier, doesn't do anything with it anymore, so I just kind of got it, I guess. But they're not really that secure. I'm going to put a ratchet strap at the top, a ratchet strap at the bottom, and a chain in the middle. So if I have to roll out, I can just roll out. I don't have to worry about the bottles falling. They're just not very secure, and I'll show you on the setups that I have out here in the shop exactly what I mean by that. So what are we doing next? I wrote next over here, question mark. We're going to analyze the existing carts that we have. We're going to look at the negatives of them, and then we're going to look at the positives. And we're going to copy the positives, and we're going to fix the negatives. That's my plan anyways. So I don't know if this will end up being a 3-video series or a 2-video series. It's probably going to take me a little bit. I'm going to build it anyway, so I figured I'd film it and throw it up on the station and see what you think. It's just going to take me like 5 times as long because I'm filming it. But that's all right. We'll get through it, and I guess we'll go out in the shop, look at our existing carts and point out the negatives and positives, and then we'll start building this thing. Here we are out in the lab with the 2 different carts that I have. The one on the right is the one that the guy stole from us. The one on the left are the new ones that I bought, and you can see the wheels are considerably bigger. But I put the wheel that I'm going to put on the cart I'm building next to it, and you can see it's way bigger than the wheels that are on it. But an interesting thing to look at is these are both from a company called Safety Cart. And you can see the evolution of the design. The one on the right, not so great. The one on the left, it's pretty good. It's definitely the best one I've seen. So what we're going to do now is tear apart all the bad stuff on the one on the right, because there's really nothing good about it. And then we'll look at the positives on the one on the left, and there's not too much negatives, but there's still no place for the torch, and I don't like the actual little bin in the back. But let's get into it. Alright, thing that I can't stand right off the bat is the hoses are wrapped around the bottles. There's no place to wrap the hoses. There is, however, if you look on the back here, I think that's what this little hook is. I don't know if somebody added that or not, but I can tell you right now it doesn't work, because I've tried to use it and it doesn't work. So now if you want to take the bottles off, you got to unwrap all the hoses, go back to the front, which is a pain, right? So, hate it. Getting rid of that. Thing I hate number 2, tiny little wheels. And we'll look at the cart that I have at my shop at my house here in a little bit. It's got even smaller wheels, but hate it. I already told you about that, so we're going to move on. Issue number 3. That's what holds the chain on. It's just a little slice in the steel. What is preventing that chain from coming off? Gravity. Hate it. There's nothing around the bottom of the bottles to keep the bottles from kicking out. Hate it. There should be something holding that in. The tray in the back, it's just full of garbage. I'm going to get a removable toolbox with a lid and put it on the cart I build. Hate it. Look how the torch is held into place. It's just hanging over that little bar, I guess, or tube actually. There needs to be a spot for the torch. Hate it. All right, this is the other setup we got here. Much better. Big wheels. I'm going to go over the stuff I like, and then there's like 2 things I don't really like about it, but we'll start with the stuff that I like. You know, we're going to start right off the bat with the wheels. They're bigger, right? We're going to go even bigger, though. We're sitting on 20s. All right, so this thing has a big handle on the back, and the torch hoses wrap around the handle, which I like. I was going to put a way to wrap the hoses up on it, but I think I'm just going to copy this and just, you know, do the same thing. Make a nice big handle on there that you can wrap the hoses around, and then they're not around the bottles, right? So if you want to take off a bottle, you don't have to undo all the hoses. So I like that, and I'm going to copy it. Okay, I like the width of the entire design, because it can take decent sized bottles. These are pretty big. Not the biggest, but I'm never going to use the biggest, so I'm going to copy this too. I like that design, so I can take smaller bottles or bigger bottles. So I'm going to copy that. The main thing I don't like about this is it's got the tray just like the other one. It's just bigger, so you can throw more garbage in it. So I'm going to get rid of the tray, and once again you see the torch is just laying in there, and that's a way better setup than the other one, but it's still just laying in there. I want it secure for some reason. I guess it's because I do portable stuff and I don't want it flopping out. So those are the main 2 things I don't like. So what we're going to do now is get into the build here. So what we're going to construct first is the bottom plate right here that the bottles sit on. I'm going to use 1/4 inch aluminum, and then I'm going to make that little lip right there that is actually 1 1/8 inches down, also out of 1/4 inch aluminum, and then I'll tack all over the place and weld it up. I'll go to the aluminum now. I just sheared it out, so we should be ready to go. So this is our bottom plate, and you can see I cut a little strip there that we're going to put at 90 degrees to go down to the floor. I'm going to tack it all over the place on the front, and then I'm going to flip it over, tack it all over on the back, and then I'm going to run a continuous bead across that. Hopefully it doesn't warp. That's 21 inches. I probably should weld all over the place, but I know it's an outside corner joint, and I know I can make it look really sweet, so I'm going to risk it and go all the way across. I may regret it. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I tacked this thing 7 or 8 times on the front, just tiny tacks, and then I put like got 2-3 inch tacks, middle, and on the ends on the back side. I'm gonna let this thing cool, and then I'm gonna put a big one on the front, let it cool again, and then I'll finish up the back. And I think I'm gonna put some angle iron on this other side going up, but I'm gonna do a little R&D right now, and then we'll figure that out. Okay, we just did a weld all the way down the whole outside corner joint of this thing on the front. Got a little blurry there, but looks good. Didn't warp. I'm going to stitch some welds in the back all the way across, and then I'm going to put the 2 little tabs back here on the corner. I'll show you what I mean here on the one we bought. Okay, on the ones we bought, you can see they just flattened the pipe, and they took a little tab down about 1 inch. I'm not going to flatten an aluminum pipe and do that, so I'm just going to weld 2 tabs on there. I don't know if it serves a purpose or not, but it's there. It'll take me 5 minutes, so I'm going to do it. Put a couple tabs down. So we just finished up welding the back side of the front up here, and we added these tabs in the back because they're on the one that we bought. I don't know if they do anything, but they're there, and we ground that flush on the top because we have to put the pipe on there, obviously. But I was thinking I was going to put, just because this is aluminum, I'm going to put a gusset on the outside of it right on that corner. Blend that all together just so there's no stress riser. And then I'm going to take a piece of angle iron on the back and put it going up there. So that's the game plan. Alright, this is where we're at. I'm going to put the angle on. Because I'm going to put the angle going up, I had to grind that little radius that's on the inside angle iron out to make it actually square, and then I put the gussets on. Ground them up, and we're at stage attach the angle. So I'm going to attach the angle in the attach the angle stage. just finished up the base of the cart. Lip on the back, lip on the front. That's next to the one we bought. I'm going to get a side view. I did make it shorter because I looked at the bottles and they weren't anywhere near to the edge. So I made it a little bit shorter as far as the width of it, I guess. And from the back, kind of see it. I'm going to put some uprights on this baby. Next up on the agenda, we're going to start with this bar up here that goes up, then it goes across and back down again. So essentially it's just a big rectangle. It's around 27 inches tall. I'm going to start cutting the aluminum for that on a bandsaw. Alright, so I cut 3 pieces, then I put 45s on them, as you saw me doing on the bandsaw. So I'm going to fixture this up next, and I may cut into a second video because I don't know where I'm at as far as time goes. But that will go back there and go vertical, and that's what the bottles are going to sit on. So we'll see what happens here after I fixture it up.